Forgotten City, Chapter 10. Kobe backed away, and the Snatcher's eyes adjusted a fraction to track him. Otherwise, it didn't move. It can't, Kobe told himself. It's malfunctioned. But could it still send signals back to its hub? If its positioning systems were online, it could report on its location, couldn't it? Nikki must have used her electrical power to start it up. Kobe ran from the room. His anger had melted, leaving only a deep dread. How long have we got? He found Asha and Fionn sitting together in the library, both poring over the same book. We have to go, now. Where's Nikki? Asha shrugged. Why? What's the matter? She betrayed us, said Kobe. Asha stood up sharply. What? She switched on the Snatcher, said Kobe. He slammed a hand down on the librarian's desk, splintering the wood. They'll be coming for us. We need to get out. Fionn stood up too. Though his eyes showed fear, his jaw was set. He nodded and stepped towards Kobe. Fionn, began Asha. Come on, said Kobe. Wait, said Asha, frowning. Are you sure? Where is Nikki now? Kobe was already running, trying to get his thoughts in some sort of order. His dad's voice came through clearly. We trained for this, son. You know what to do. The base is compromised. Emergency evac. He needed to grab all the weapons and supplies he could carry. There were several ways out of the school, but if the Snatchers were coming from the city, they'd be running straight into their path. Nikki emerged from the school gym ahead, not looking guilty in the slightest. She was actually smiling. Why did you do it? Shouted Kobe, though he knew exactly. Nikki looked taken aback at his furious tone. What are you talking about? I trusted you, said Kobe, practically spitting with disgust. Asha and Fionn arrived behind him. Asha was carrying the dart rifle, not that it could help in the slightest against a robotic enemy. At that moment, Kobe's ears picked up sounds, a mechanical whirring sound that meant only one thing. More Snatchers. Already? They're here, he said, looking up at the ceiling. Who's here? Cried Nikki. I can't believe she's still keeping up the act. Snatchers, Kobe said, as if you didn't know. Several thuds hit the roof above their heads, and a moment later, the sound of smashing glass from several directions. Kobe didn't know which way to run. How many are there? There was no way to get to his regular supplies. There's a secret way out, he said to the others. Follow me. He set off at a run toward the reception area, but stopped after a few steps as the front doors of the school crashed inward. Smoke spilled inside, followed by two Snatchers on foot, their metal legs arching up and down as they skittered into the corridor. One of the Snatchers advanced quickly, and Nikki slipped backwards, landing on the floor. We're from Heelholm, she shouted. Please don't! The metal spider reared up in front of her, and the young girl screamed as two forelegs clamped around her middle and lifted her into the air. A long, flexible metal arm wound up sickeningly from under the Snatcher's carapace, like the tail of a scorpion, but on its underside. The sting reared up and jabbed Nikki in the neck. The girl's body went instantly limp, and the Snatchers retreated with its prey. Kobe grabbed Fionn's arm and tugged him the other way. His mind ran over the possibilities, the ways out. Kobe, wait! Shouted Asha. He didn't. Nikki was lost, probably dead already, but he couldn't process that now. He couldn't think of anything except getting away. He and Fionn skidded around a corner, and a moment later Asha came too. Her lips were trembling. Nikki, she said. A Snatcher's feet rattled after them. Come on, yelled Kobe. They ran. At the woodwork room, Kobe dodged quickly inside and went to the cabinet at the back. Please be where I remember. The grenades were tucked at the back, 2 of them. By the time he emerged into the corridor again, the Snatcher was rounding the bend. It stalked toward them with a calm menace. Go! Kobe yelled to the others, and as they fled, he paused with his finger on the pin. His dad had run through the drill 100 times with a disarmed one. This was real. He tugged the pin loose, stooped, and rolled the grenade as the Snatcher approached, then ducked back into the classroom. The boom was deafening. Shattering the glass panel in its door, the shrapnel tore across the work desks. Kobe peered out and saw the Snatcher on its side, 3 remaining legs scrambling. He didn't stick around and ran in the other direction. Asha and Fionn were beside an old water fountain. Nikki, said Asha, we should go back. Kobe paid no attention. Nikki could pay for her own mistakes for all he cared. There were more thuds coming from another direction. He put an arm around Fionn's shoulder and led him a few feet up to a door that read Janitor. He shouldered it open and pulled Fionn into the room on the other side. Follow the emergency protocol. No mistakes. Asha entered too, and Kobe pushed the door closed and locked it from the inside. Complete darkness. You know what to do. Stay close, he said. With one hand still on Fionn, Kobe took 6 strides along the wall, reached the end, and followed it at a 90 degrees. His toes bumped the crate on the floor. Crouching, he eased it aside, then scrabbled on the ground until his fingers found the metal ring. It lifted easily, opening the hatch. There are stairs here, he said. Asha, you guys go first. I need to close the hatch behind us. He wondered if a snatcher could even fit down here, but didn't want to wait to find out. The other 2 shuffled past blindly. Kobe could hear heavy breathing and feel the heat of the bodies. After they passed, he swung the hatch closed and followed. The air down there was musty and cool. Where are we going? Asked Asha. Just keep walking, said Kobe. It's an old service tunnel linked to a storm shelter. There's a wheel lock on a door 143 paces away. He let his own fingers trail along the wall, walking briskly until they reached the end. He bumped into one of the others, then reached left for the alcove he knew was there and grabbed the canvas sack, his emergency provisions. Then, off the hooks below, the crossbow and sheath machete on a belt. Kobe placed a foot on the rung of a metal ladder and reached for the ceiling, taking hold of the cold metal wheel. With a few squeaking turns, it opened inward, and he climbed up, pausing for a moment to check the interior of the abandoned storage shed, which teemed with plant life. He could just about make out the shapes of old sports equipment, helmets, pads, hurdles, beneath the vegetation. There was a flashlight in the sack, he knew, but he didn't want to risk drawing any attention from the snatchers at the school. Behind him, Asha and Fionn clambered out as well. Are we safe? Asked Asha. Kobe put his fingers to his lips. We're at the perimeter of the school grounds, he whispered. Not clear yet. In a crouch, he headed to the shed's wooden door, locked from the inside with a rusty key. He turned it slowly, then eased the door open with a fraction, eye to the crack. He could see the long grass flatten and swirl from the wind from the snatchers' thrusters as they flew around lazily. He counted at least 5. Kobe knew the long grass didn't obscure their extensive sensors array. I don't understand, said Asha, shaking her head. If those things belong to claws... Fionn touched her arm, his face questioning. I don't, Fee, said Asha. Her bottom lip trembled. I really don't. Kobe remembered the young girl's terrified scream as the snatcher seized her, and the way she slumped when the sting jabbed into her. There was nothing to make him think that Nikki could possibly be alive. So much for their guardians. He watched the school. Snatchers were scurrying in and out of the doors and windows like wasps entering their hive. I'm never going back there, he realized. Everything was ruined, and it was all because he'd taken in these 3 strangers. He'd been too nice, too trusting. Not anymore. We can't stay, he said. Are you coming with me or not? Asha looked at Fionn, clearly making up her mind. Not for the first time, Kobe found himself puzzling at their strange connection. Fionn stepped towards Kobe. He held up his hands, placing the thumbs together and spreading the palms. Kobe realized he was making the shape of a butterfly shadow puppet. Fionn made the hand animal flutter away. Asha looked at Fionn and then turned to Kobe. We're with you.